Good morning, students. Now, in this class, we will discuss some important points from the chapter Chemistry in Everyday Life and also followed by polymers. As it is a brief revision, we will have a quick glance on the subtopics. Firstly, we have to start with the definition of drug. Drug means the substance which is used for or which can be used for the diagnosis and prevention, cure or relief of a disease. That is said to be a drug. It is a flow molecular mass substance actually, and when it comes to the term chemotherapy, because we cannot discuss every point here in a revision, chemotherapy means where these different types of classification of classified drugs will be used. It is a specific treatment of a disease using any one of these. Specific treatment of a disease by use of chemical substances. Treatment of disease by use of any one of these chemical substances or drugs is called as a chemotherapy. Now, when it comes to the classification of drugs, there are different types like analgesics which relieve the body pain, which reduces the body pain, which are classified into narcotics and non-narcotics. Narcotics means which are addictive, non-narcotics is non-addictive. Okay, narcotic drugs are morphine, heroin and codeine. These are extracted from opium plant, opium poppy. And non-narcotic drugs are aspirin, ibuprofen, paracetamol, methyl salicylate, which is called as oil of wintergreen, etc. This may be the question, which of the following is called as oil of wintergreen? And sometimes with respect to the syllabus given in the NCERT, we have to go through their methods of preparation also. For example, if it is aspirin, it is orthoacetyl salicylic acid. Orthoacetyl salicylic acid, this is a salicylic acid. When it is subjected to acetylation, CH3, C double bond O, C double bond O, CH3. When it is subjected to acetylation here, O, C double bond O, CH3. See, this is an acetyl group, right? So, orthoacetylated benzoic acid. So, this is salicylic acid and this is aspirin. Okay, in this way, if it is given in NCERT, better you go through the methods of preparation. Similarly, para-acetaminophenol, paracetamol means para-acetaminophenol. Para-acetamino means this one will be acylated, acetaminophenol. So, that para-aminophenol can be acylated is using the similar procedure, again acylating agents like anhydride or acid chloride, etc. See, non-narcotic drugs are aspirin, ibuprofen, also termed as a brufen from the brand name, paracetamol, methyl salicylate, etc. Tranquilizers means they antidepressant drugs basically. So, these are the questions, which of the following is a tranquilizer? That will be the question usually under NEET and JEE mains. Valium, diazepam, Equanil, serotonin, phenylgine and ipronioside. So, these are all we have to remember them. Basically, these are some of these drugs are derivatives of barbituric acid like veronal, seconal, etc. These are also coming under antidepressant drugs they are. And when it comes to antibiotics, so sulfanilamide, sulfapyridine, azodai, prontosil, etc. These comes under antibiotics. And when it comes to narrow range antibiotic, narrow range means within a short range, penicillin, etc. They comes under narrow range, and broad range antibiotics means amoxicillin, ampicillin, chloramphenicol, etc. And when it comes to their effect, their action, antibiotic action, in low concentration they are said to be bacteriostatic. In low concentration they are said to be bacteriostatic, means they inhibits the growth, not stopping, they inhibits the growth. Whereas high concentration they acts as bactericidal, means they kills the bacteria. Some examples are for bacteriostatic or erythromycin, tetramycin, chloramphenicol, etc. Erythromycin, azithromycin we use for some aerial infection. And high concentration bactericidal drugs means penicillin, aminoglycosides, ofloxacin, levofloxacin, etc. These are all bactericidal, means they kills the bacteria. That is why when they were used, usually people feel so much lowering of energy, right. Next, antiseptics. Antiseptics means which can be applied for the skin, right, which are applicable for the skin also. Dettol, which is a combination of chloroxylenol and terpenol, and this combination, chemical combination, we have to remember. Bithionol, which is generally employed in soaps. Tincture of iodine, when wounds are for wounds they use tincture of iodine, iodine plus alcohol plus water, and iodoform, boric acid, hydrogen peroxide and 0.2% phenol. These all comes under antiseptics. Depending on the situation, we have to use the one. And disinfectants means which cannot be applied to skin. Disinfectants means 1% phenol, 0.2% phenol is antiseptic, 1% phenol is again disinfectant, and chlorine, sulfur dioxide, etc. So, this will be used in swimming pools. So, chlorine will be used in swimming pools, that is why. And antacids means hydroxides of magnesium, aluminum, etc., and bicarbonates like sodium bicarbonate, etc. When it comes to the action of drugs on targets, see, many chemical reactions in our body are catalyzed by enzymes, and those enzymes hold the substrate. Enzymes hold the substrate at some active sites in a lock and key model, by certain number of attractive forces, certain types of attractive forces like hydrogen bonding, covalent bonding, van der Waals forces and other forces. So, in this way enzymes hold the substrate at some positions called as active sites. What happens meanwhile, in some cases when a drug is taken, the drug competes with the substrate, to attach to the active site. Drug competes with the substrate to attach to the active site of an enzyme. As a result, what happens is the catalytic activity of enzyme will be blocked. Catalytic activity of enzyme will be blocked. This type of inhibition of catalytic activity of enzyme is called as competitive inhibition. So, this is okay. There is another approach of a drug actually. In some cases, drug binds to the enzyme at a different site called as allosteric site, and changes the shape of the enzyme and its previous receptor site, right. As a result of which the enzyme will be active to bind, that enzyme is blocked, means this substrate cannot be joined to the enzyme, substrate cannot bind to the active site, and enzyme is completely blocked. This type of approach is called as non-competitive inhibition. Actually, on the cell membrane, receptors are located in such a way that their active site remains open outside. So, what will happen? Chemical messengers will interact with these active sites. Of the receptors and transmits the message and transfer the message. So, there are two types in this. There are some drugs which interact with the receptor site and stimulates. Such drugs are called as agonist drugs. Drugs which interact with the receptor site and stimulates are called as agonists, whereas some drugs which combine with the receptors and disturbs the function of this one receptor are called as antagonist drugs. When it comes to the anti-fertility drugs, another classification of drugs, these are used to control the population by family planning. Actually, these are a mixture of derivatives of estrogen and progesterone hormones. These are anti-fertility drugs are a mixture of derivatives of estrogen and progesterone hormones. Now, this is the structure of one of the anti-fertility drug, which is ethinyl estradiol, which is a derivative of estrogen, also called as novestrol. Right, ethinyl, see there is an ethinyl branch here. The rest of the structure is same, here aromatic ring, here non-aromatic, that is the difference. Rest of the rings are quite common, here aromatic ring, here non-aromatic, and even this also can be, see this is a oxo group and this is an alcohol group. And when it comes to this one norethindrone, this is also a derivative of hormone, and usually these are controlled to, these are used to control the female menstrual cycle and ovulation. These are basically more potent than the natural hormones. when it comes to antioxidants, substance which when added is capable of inhibiting or arresting or retarding the process of oxidative deterioration of food. Oxidative deterioration of food are called as antioxidants, and examples are BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole, butylated hydroxytoluene, and sulfur dioxide, sulfites, etc. And structures also better we have to remember. This is anisole methoxybenzene, hydroxy at para position, and this is a tertiary butyl group, and this is also toluene hydroxy position is at para and 2 tertiary butyl groups. And sulfur dioxide and sulfites also used as antioxidants, structural modifiers and enzyme inhibitors, and also antimicrobials. So, when it comes to the next topic, detergents, there are 3 classes in this. One is cationic and one is anionic, and other one is non-ionic detergents. Anionic detergents contains anions at the soluble end of the chain. These are usually employed in toothpastes. For example, consider this structure. This is called as a 12 carbon chain, dodecyl benzene. Dodecyl benzene, when subjected to sulfonation, gives dodecyl benzene sulfonic acid, and when treated with sodium hydroxide, it is giving sodium dodecyl benzene sulfonate, which is an example for anionic detergent. So, these are usually employed in toothpaste and household cleaning substances. When it comes to cationic detergents, they contain quaternary ammonium salts of chlorides, bromides, and acetates. Basically, these are expensive and are germicidal also. For example, if you consider this 16 carbon chain with 3 methyl, so 16 hexadecyl trimethyl ammonium chloride, which is used in conditioner. That is why it is expensive. And when it comes to non-ionic detergents, they contain hydrogen bonding terminals like carboxylic acid or other functional groups which can form hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonding groups at the soluble end of the chain, which are generally employed in vessel cleaners. When it comes to the next topic, polymers, so first of all, one has to learn the classification of polymers into 7 categories based on source, structure, mode of preparation, means mode of polymerization, molecular forces, polarity, heat treatment, and organic and inorganic basis. So, when it comes to the source, they are of 3 types: semi-synthetic, synthetic, and natural, semi-synthetic, and synthetic. Natural means which are naturally available, semi-synthetic means which can also be prepared artificially, and synthetic means which are prepared only in the laboratory, means artificial manner, which have no natural existence. So, these are the examples. Natural polymers means cotton, silk, wool, and this one proteins, cellulose, natural rubber, etc. When it comes to semi-synthetic, cellulose derivative, cellulose nitrate, cellulose rayon, cellulose rayon, etc. And synthetic polymers means polythene, nylon, buna-ice, etc. They are all coming under synthetic polymers. When it comes to the structure, linear, branched, cross-linked. So, one can understand easily from this. Linear are of high density polythene and PVC, and branched means low density polythene, which are used for making carry bags, etc. High density means polythene means which is used for making buckets, water bottles, etc. And cross-linked means which are almost like fibers, see bakelite, melamine, etc. similar to the fiber. And mode of polymerization means there are 2 types of polymerization technique. One is condensation, other one is addition. Addition via elimination of simple units like water, ammonia, etc. is condensation. We already studied that. So, addition means simply the monomeric units will be joined together: polypropylene, polythene, PVC, polyacrylonitrile, etc. Condensation polymer means via elimination of simple units like water, ammonia, etc. means polypeptide bond formation, terylene, nylon 6,6, nylon 6, etc. And when it comes to molecular forces, elastomers, fibers, thermosetting, and thermoplastic. These 4 categories comes under molecular forces. And polarity means charge distribution, cationic polymers and anionic polymers based on this. And when it comes to classification under heat treatment with respect to this thermosetting, thermoplastic, and thermoplastic polymers. So, these are examples for thermosetting and thermoplastic. And when it comes to the origin, they may be from organic compound origin or inorganic compound origin. Organic polymers are best example leather, and inorganic polymers best example silicone, rubbers, etc. And this is about the classification. When it comes to the method of polymerization, firstly we have to discuss about addition polymerization. Here there are three mechanisms possible in this: cationic, anionic and free radical mechanism. Cationic mechanism means where initiator is a cation. Initiator is a cation like Lewis acid. Okay, that will be added to the unsaturation and generates a carbocation intermediate. Chain initiation followed by chain propagation, and chain termination will be done by removal of a proton. In cationic polymerization, chain termination will be taking place by the removal of proton. And when it comes to anionic polymerization, anion will be the initiator, and the main point to be noted in anionic polymerization is there is no chain terminating step. Which of these mechanisms have no chain terminating step? Anionic polymerization. And when it comes to free radical polymerization, usually free radical polymerization means in presence of sunlight or peroxides. Organic peroxides will initiate this reaction. And examples for this addition polymers are polythene, where ethylene units are joined together. There are two categories just now we discussed. One is low density polythene and other one is high density polythene. Low density polythene peroxide is the initiator, whereas high density polythene Ziegler-Natta catalyst. What is Ziegler-Natta catalyst? Trialkyl aluminum plus titanium tetrachloride. Trialkyl aluminum and titanium tetrachloride is called as Ziegler-Natta catalyst. High density polyethenes are used in making buckets, water bottles and quality water bottles, etc. And polytetrafluoroethylene means monomer is CF2 double bond CF2, tetrafluoroethylene. When it is subjected to polymerization, we can get polytetrafluoroethylene. PAN, polyacrylonitrile, which is also called as Orlon, it is vinyl cyanide. Vinyl cyanide means CH2 double bond CHCN. When it is subjected to polymerization, we can get PAN. So, the corresponding short name, full name and industrial name along with the monomer unit. These 4 points you have to remember. And when it comes to condensation polymerization, you are aware of the term. Condensation means addition followed by elimination of simple units. Suppose if it is nylon 6,6, the monomeric units in nylon 6,6, that may be the question if you are lucky. What are the monomers? Hexamethylene diamine, NH2, and adipic acid CH2 taken 4 with 2 carboxylic acid groups. And you can easily remember these acids with that shortcut, right? Ohm's gap. Have you studied OMSGAP? Oh my son, go and play. That shortcut helps you in remembering. O for oxalic acid, this is M for malonic acid, S for succinic acid, G for glutaric, A for adipic, P for pimelic acid. M for malonic, not malic. Malic and fumaric are having unsaturation, that is cis and trans isomer. Oxalic means COOH taken twice. M for malonic acid means between 1 methylene group. Succinic acid means 2 methylene groups. Glutaric acid means 3. Adipic acid means 4. That adipic acid we are using here. So, hexamethylene diamine with adipic acid. So, there is an elimination of simple units here, water molecule. As a result of this, it gives NH, CH2 taken 6, NH, C double bond O, CH2 taken 4, C double bond O. So, in this way nylon 6,6 can be generated. So, it is 6 every gap, after every NH there are 6 carbon chain, that is why it comes under nylon 6,6. When it comes to nylon 6, so that is nylon 6 is CH2 taken 5 times NH with C double bond O. So, caprolactam is the monomeric unit which is used for the preparation of nylon 6. Every gap after every NH or between every 2 NH groups, 6 carbon chain can be noticed. That is why this is called as nylon 6. Similarly, we can prepare even polyester also. Polyester, how to prepare these polyesters? Polyester is formed by the condensation of ethylene glycol. Polyester is formed by the condensation of ethylene glycol with terephthalic acid. As a result of which like this. So, this is a repeating unit in polyester, and here also water molecule, simple water molecule is eliminated out, and for this polymerization technique of polyesters, zinc acetate and antimony trichloride will be used as catalyst. Zinc acetate and antimony trichloride will be used as a catalyst. So, these are some techniques which comes under methods of preparation of polymers. When it comes to natural rubber, it is usually obtained from rubber latex from rubber trees, which is a colloidal suspension of a rubber in water, means it is an emulsion. It is an emulsion. So, latex contains 35% rubber, which is coagulated by adding a formic acid or acetic acid. So, that we can get crude rubber or raw rubber. This solid or crude rubber is refined either by breaking down, means masticating, or by compounding that rubber. So, structure of rubber is actually linear 1,4 addition polymer of isoprene. It was observed as natural rubber was observed as a polymer of linear 1,4 addition of isoprene. This is isoprene. So, actually it contains unsaturation at 1,13 position C, but after polymerization unsaturation can be seen at 2,3 between C2 and C3 position. This is cis 1,4 polyisoprene, and its a transform of rubber is called as gutta percha. They may ask, it was a previous question also. So, usually the structure of natural rubber is a cis form, whereas transform of rubber is called as gutta percha. And natural rubber is soft at high temperature and brittle at low temperature, and means its properties are not even, and absorbs water. High absorption tendency of water can be noticed for natural rubber, soluble in non-polar solvents and can be attacked by oxidizing agents easily. So, these are the physical properties, poor physical properties this natural rubber has. It is highly abrasive also, and these physical properties can be improved by the addition of a sulfur to hot molten rubber. This phenomena is called as vulcanization of rubber. This sulfur gets connected through allyl carbon, which is more reactive. Tire rubber contains 5% of sulfur. Now, automobile tire rubber contains 5% sulfur, and battery case rubber contains 30% sulfur, and hardest known form of vulcanized rubber is ebonite, which contains 40 to 45% sulfur. And sulfur, as we discussed, sulfur gets attached to allylic CH2 position, which is more reactive in its structure. This is about natural rubber. When it comes to synthetic rubber, they are homopolymers of derivatives of 1,3 butadiene. Homopolymers, homo means same units gets polymerized, and or derivatives, homopolymers of 1,3 butadiene or derivatives of 1,3 butadiene. For derivatives means, for example, you take neoprene, here chlorine is there. 1,3 butadiene derivative is neoprene. So, when it is polymerized, we can get that synthetic rubber or artificial rubber. Similarly, Buna S means styrene rubber, S for styrene. It is formed by the addition polymerization of 1,3 butadiene and styrene. 1,3 butadiene and styrene as a combination, it gives a corresponding polymer. So, there is no unsaturation after getting polymerized. Right, this is called as Buna S. Similarly, Buna N means 1,3 butadiene with acrylonitrile, vinyl cyanide, that gives a Buna N. And when it comes to the method of expressing the molecular mass of these rubbers, there are two ways. One is number average molecular mass, and other one is weight average molecular mass. Number average molecular mass is N1 M1 plus N2 M2 so on by N1 plus N2 plus N3 so on, where these N1 N2 N3 indicates number of polymeric molecules of molecular mass M1 M2 M3 so on. I am repeating, this capital N1 N2 N3 indicates the number of monomeric polymer molecules whose molecular mass is M1 M2 M3 so on respectively. So, this such calculated mass is called as Mn bar, number average molecular mass. When it comes to weight average molecular mass, it can be expressed as N1 M1 square plus N2 M2 square plus so on by N1 M1 plus M2 M2. It is weight average molecular mass. This is number average, this is weight average molecular mass. And one more phenomena is there. This number average molecular mass can be determined by usual techniques like osmotic pressure method or colligative properties technique, etc. Whereas weight average molecular mass can be determined by scattering of light technique. Next concept is polydispersity index, which is the ratio of weight average molecular mass to number average molecular mass, whose value is generally unity for natural rubbers. For natural available forms, polydispersity value is 1, whereas for synthetic polymers it is greater than 1 and it ranges between 1 to 1.5 usually for rubber. And our next concept is biodegradable polymers. So, when all polymers are taking hundreds of years for decomposition, now we are in need of biodegradable polymers. One such example is PHBV. PHBV means poly beta hydroxy butyrate co beta hydroxy valerate. Poly beta hydroxy butyrate co beta hydroxy valerate, which is used for making capsule body and in medicinal industries also. And one more is polylactic acid, polyglycolic acid, PLA, PGA. Right. So, these such polymers can be used, and biodegradable polymer science is day by day. It has a vast scope, and because of its more necessity. So, this is a small question from amino acid. pKa of carboxyl group in an amino acid valine is 2.31. For carboxylic acid, pKa is given, and pKa of amino group is 9.69. Compute the isoelectric point, pHi. Isoelectric point means what? The pH at which amino acid exists as a dipolar ion. The pH at which amino acid exists as a dipolar ion with net charge 0. With net charge 0. Compute the isoelectric point pHi for valine and draw the structure of this amino acid when pH of the solution is equal to pHi, and also draw the structure when pH is 2 and pH is 12. POH2 means pH is 12, no? Like that. Okay. Then according to this isoelectric point, see, suppose this is COOH, HNH2 and CH, it is CH3 twice. Now, this is the structure of valine, right, isopropyl on the instead of group G. In acidic medium, when it acts in acidic medium, what happens? This basic nature will be pronounced, giving COOH, NH3 plus CH3 taken twice, whereas of course, this is at equilibrium, and in presence of a base, acidic nature of COOH will be pronounced, giving so this is structure 1, this is structure 2 and structure 3. What is net charge on the species? Net charge on the species is, here it is a +1, here it is 0 charge, here it is -1. Now, with respect to this, what we have to find? We have to find isoelectric point. Isoelectric point pHi can be calculated as pKa1 plus pKa2 by 2. What is pKa1? It is 2.31 plus pKa2 is 9.69 by 2, it is 12 by 2, it is 6. So, first question is finished. Compute the isoelectric point. Okay. And then what else is asked? Draw the structure of this amino acid when pH of the solution is equal to pHi. pHi is 6. At this pH, it should exist as a dipolar ion, but it should be, there should be net charge should be 0. Now, net charge should be 0 means at isoelectric point it is COO minus CHNH3 plus CHCH3 twice. This is the structure at pH is equal to pHi. pH equal to isoelectric point, this will be the structure of amino acid. Next, when pH of the solution is 2 in acidic medium, pH of the solution is 2 means in acidic medium, when pH is 2. Okay. And also when pH is 12, this is when pH is equals to, so this is when pH is 12. So, pH 12, that is the structure, pH 2, this is the structure, and when pH is equal to isoelectric point, that one will be the structure. Isoelectric point can be calculated using this relation.